Good morning and Assalamu alaikum. This is the Light School Noshara campus and it's your biology class, biology for grade 10th. Our last topic was food chains. If you remember what we said that producers usually take on their energy from the sun, prepare their food, and this food is then eaten by, or it is then taken by herbivores, and then from the herbivores the food energy is taken by owl or your consumers, right? And then we said that how many organisms are, how many levels are involved there. We call them, this is a trophic level, and then we said that these are known as links. So 1, 2, 3 organisms were found. This means that this was a 3-link chain. But usually what happens that the corn is not only eaten by rat, and rat is not only eaten by owl, right? So a series of, here we can say that corn can also be eaten by goat, but then goat is eaten by a fox, and fox by a lion, right? Similarly, a corn can be eaten by a rabbit, and this rabbit can be eaten by an owl, or the fox can eat the rabbit as well, or sometimes the lion can also. So here if you observe, so we cannot mention the feeding process in a single food chain, but we have to make a series of the links to show that which organism is being eaten by other organism, and so on. So this process or this series is known as food web. If you look over here, what is here? The feeding relationships in a community cannot be represented by a single or simple food chain, because a single consumer eats more than one producer and is eaten by more than one consumer. Thus, many simple food chains are linked together and make a food web. A food web is a graphical description of feeding relationships among the organisms in an ecosystem. This is an algae. Algae can be eaten by prawn. It can be eaten by carp. Both are found in fish, in sea. Then prawn and carp both are eaten by trout, as well as this carp is eaten by kingfisher, and kingfisher eats trout. So it is here, it's not a simple food chain, but this is what it is, a food web. Similarly, waterweed can be eaten by carp, it can be eaten by prawn, it can be eaten by fly, it can be eaten by slug, and then slug is eaten by turtle, fly can be eaten by dragonfly or frog is this, so on. What we get, another food web, right? And we learned that the producers are your first, they are the producers. Producers are your first trophic level, whereas consumers or herbivores are your second trophic level. Secondary consumers are your third, whereas tertiary consumers are your fourth trophic level and fifth trophic level. So the more you increase on, the trophic level increases, right? Our today's topic is energy relations between different trophic levels. So I explained it earlier that trophic level is represented by numbers. This means that the producers are your first trophic level, then consumers or herbivores are your second trophic level, then carnivores are your third trophic level, then secondary carnivores are your fourth trophic level, and if there is any other tertiary carnivore also, we can go on increasing, right? So here we can say that the links are expressed by numbers, and these numbers are known as trophic levels. So when producers capture heat energy, we know that this heat energy is not in full form. What happens that, for example, 100,000 kilocalorie energy from sun is coming down. 1000 kilocalorie of energy is coming from sun down. So what happens? The total biomass is the number of organisms found on earth, right? The total biomass of producers. This energy is absorbed by some of the plant species here, some plants there, some plants here, some plants here, and many of the sun energy is wasted. So out of 1000 kilocalorie, suppose it's a general rule, as a general rule we say that 10% of energy is consumed by biomass. So that is not 10% is consumed, but 10% is left for the other organisms. How? This 1000 kilocalorie is coming from sun downward. Most of the energy is wasted to the environment, whereas sun is absorbed by biomass. It is distributed in the biomass. Then what happens? That this biomass or these plants, they perform their metabolic activities to make food, to get energy, to grow, right? And only 10% of the energy is left for herbivores to be eaten. So this 1000 kilocalorie, the 10% of 1000 kilocalorie becomes 100. So this means that only 100 kilocalorie energy is left for herbivores. So these herbivores will eat this 100 kilocalorie energy, right? Then what happens? That the herbivores, when these herbivores utilize the 100 kilocalorie of energy, they do their metabolic activities, they rid of their waste. Most of the energy is wasted to the environment, and then again 10% is left, and the 10% of 100 kilocalorie is only 10. So then 10 kilocalorie energy is left for the other trophic level, right? So it was about energy relationship between different trophic levels, and now come towards pyramid of numbers. Pyramid of biomass. Pyramid of biomass means that this is a pyramid. They have given you a pyramid, and according to this pyramid, what is it? It's to show you how much biomass decreases from time to time, or from one level to another trophic level. So your first trophic level, which is producers biomass, look at the length. Their biomass is more. If you observe producers or plants, there are more plants on the earth as compared to herbivores, rabbits, etc. There are less number of rabbits as compared to producers. So the second trophic level is now less as compared to first trophic level. Come towards third trophic level, so its length is again decreased, right? So why is it so? That is because of the feeding and being eaten process. And then your tertiary consumers. So from one level to another level, the biomass or the population of living organisms decreases from one trophic level to another, from producers to consumers, consumers to secondary consumers, secondary to tertiary consumers, and so on. Come towards pyramid of numbers. Pyramid of numbers show you the exact number of the organisms found there. So if primary producers, for example plants, they are suppose 15 lakh in number, so in the second trophic level they are primary consumers will be 5,000, 10% of 15,000, and then tertiary consumers will be 10% of the secondary consumers, that is 50. So I really hope the topic will be clear to each and every person, but if there is anything which you want to ask, please do ask. It was already explained, that is why I'm not going into detail. Still, what we learned that from one trophic level to another trophic level, number one, the energy decreases. Number two, the biomass decreases while we move up in a trophic level. And number three, the population also decreases. Right? Let's read it if something is left. It represents the number of organisms at each trophic level in an ecosystem. In pyramids of numbers, each successive trophic level has fewer organisms. This means the organisms become less. The number of producers is largest in an ecosystem at the next trophic level of primary consumers, herbivores. The number of organisms is less than the previous level. At the third trophic level of secondary consumers or carnivores, their number becomes lesser. Then primary consumers. Similarly, in all successive trophic levels, the numbers of organisms go on decreasing. I hope it is clear, right? Alright, so what your homework is, that is observing, analyzing and interpreting. Construct food chains, food webs through observation of the local pond. Don't go for local pond or grassland ecosystem. What you have to do, search in your own home about different food chains and food webs and make an assignment. So this is going to be your second assignment in biology, which is supposed to be completed till Monday. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye bye.